guys, just got back from the farmer's market and I'm in the mood for pickles. So I picked up some of the last of the pickling cucumbers and just gonna wash them quick. Just let them soak a little bit in some water. Okay, I just gave them a quick wash. I'm just gonna now soak it in some spring water. And I have about 7 pounds of pickling cucumbers. I just want these to soak a little bit. I don't want to use the tap water because of the chlorine. I don't want that to soak into the actual pickles. So I'm using spring water. So I just want these to soak a little bit, just because some of them are a little bit soft. So I just want them to crisp up a little bit. So we'll just let these soak for a little bit and we'll prep the other stuff. Alright, so I made pickles previously in the past, so I want to reuse my jar. It's just I still have a couple pickles in there and I want to start a fresh batch. So I'm going to repackage it. Excuse the mess, it's Sunday night, so you know what that means. Sunday night cooking for the week. I made these a couple weeks ago. And I'm just going to pull them out and I'll show you. Beautiful pickle. Alright. So we're going to make these. These are lacto fermented and I'll explain the whole process. So let me just pack these away. Alright, just washing out the jar. I just packed away my 3 lonely pickles that I had left. So I'm just washing with hot soapy water. You don't have to do anything super crazy. We're not canning, so this is a different process for canning. So hot soapy water it is. So I just harvested some horseradish leaf. Horseradish leaf helps keep your pickles crisp. Mine have a few holes in them. There were some caterpillars enjoying the horseradish, so I'm just gonna clean it, make sure that there's no little critters left over while we do the pickling process. I have my garlic that I picked up from the farmer's market, and we're just going to peel a couple and get them ready and just put them in the jar. I do have some fresh bay leaves, so I'm just going to add these in. I have about 9 here, they're small. Just throw them in and just peel some garlic. And we're going to want to crush them. I like my pickles a little bit on the garlicky side, so I'm not sure how many I'm going to use just yet. Probably 5. This is a nice juicy one, so just get the skin off. I just take a big knife and that's it. Crushed garlic. Goes right in.
That's what I was going for. Curious.
I want to keep the garlic whole, mostly. I just want to crush it to get a little bit of the flavor out. Ready?
Okay, so how many garlic did you end up putting in?
5.
5? Alright.
Yeah, some were big, some were small.
You didn't tell them to make sure they take out all the skin. Is that what it's called? Whatever the outer layers are.
Paper.
My paper stuff.
Okay, now I have some whole peppercorns. I'm just going to go with a little bit of a handful. About that much. Throw it into the bottom. Alright, I am cheating here a little bit. I didn't have horseradish root, but I saved a little bit of the horseradish root from my last batch of pickles. They're still good. And I'm just going to throw them in to the bottom. You don't have to do this step, I just do it because I like a little bit of the horseradish flavor. And I'm going to put the horseradish leaf from earlier into the bottom. This helps keep the pickles a little bit on the crunchy side. I'm just going to fold it and put it down. I have a bigger one, I'm going to save that for the top. Instead of using horseradish leaf, you can use a white oak leaf, you can use a grape leaf. I've used blackberry leaves in the past and it's worked. Alright, now my next step. I do have some dill prepared that I washed earlier. I'm just going to throw a couple in at the bottom. Maybe a little bit more.
How do you determine how much to throw in? Is that just your own personal taste? Or?
My own personal taste. I like it dilly and garlicky, like a kosher dill picker. Kosher dill pickle.
Okay. So they should just adjust as they see fit?
Yes, but the salt-water ratio is most important.
Okay.
You can add in hot peppers if you want. You can put in some red pepper flakes if you want a little bit on the spicy side. I've seen some recipes with cinnamon. I've never tried it before, but I'm kind of curious. You can put cloves in as well. You can also put mustard seeds. I like to keep it on the simple side. Okay. Next. Alright, so I've had my cucumbers soaking in the cold water for a little bit. The spring tap water. You don't want to use chlorine water. Unfiltered water is best. Chlorine's gonna stop the fermentation process. So I always like to use spring water, bottled water. Anyway, you want to make sure that your pickles are scrubbed clean. If there's a blossom still on there, you want to remove the blossom because the blossom will make your pickles mushy. If there's a stem, just trim it. So I'm just going to pack these in. So I have a mix of sizes in here. I have some larger and some smaller. I'm going to try to put the bigger ones towards the bottom because they're going to take longer to ferment, and then the smaller ones on top because if I want to just grab a pickle, the smaller ones will ferment quicker than the bigger ones. So. Quick trip, we had to stop at the local store to pick up another jar because I didn't have enough room in this one and my other scale did not work, so I bought myself a new one. So let's get started with making the salt water. I'm going to make a 3.5% salinity solution. So I just have a 2-cup measure. I'm just going to make small batches at a time because I don't know how much water I need, so I'm just going to do for 2 cups of water. It's roughly 17 grams of kosher salt. So let's get to work.
Now, does it matter what type of salt you use?
You don't want to use table salt, iodized salt, because that will not work well for pickles. I like to use just kosher salt. I just use the red box. And you want to weigh your salt out because each salt, depending if it's coarse or fine, can have different measurements. So we're going to weigh at 17 grams.
Almost. Oh, did I breathe on it?
Alright, 17 grams. Now I'm just going to tear it because I do want to weigh my water. Let me just double check how much weight for water. 472 grams. So I'm just going to weigh out 472 grams. It's going to be roughly 2 cups of water. There you go, you can see 2 cups of water, or 500 milliliters, 472 grams. We're just going to stir this to dissolve the salt. Obviously you can make a bigger batch, just adjust the ratio. And I don't have a bigger vessel, so that's why I just do 2 cups at a time. Now we just fill up the jars. Try not to spill it all over the place. So obviously that just filled it up probably what? Quarter of the way up, so I'm gonna have to make a couple more batches. So let me get to work. Alright, so now that we got this filled up to the top, I'm just gonna lightly put the cover back on. I'm just gonna clean up the sides, just get it all dry. And I'm just gonna put my little fancy top on. And I'm not going to close it all the way. I'm just going to kind of secure it like this just to let some air out. It is filled to the top. We're gonna put it in a little dark corner. We want it out of direct sunlight, between 65 to 80 degrees. It's kind of warm in the house. The house is reading. Sorry, I'm looking by the thermometer. It's around 78 in the house right now. Don't have the AC on, so this may ferment a little bit quicker than normal, but typically around 3 days I like to check my pickles. I'm gonna just check it tomorrow because it is warm in the house, and just make sure that there's no scummy stuff. So let me just put this one off to the side. Just get this out of the way. And my next batch, I'm just gonna clean up a little bit too. Obviously, I don't want to fill it all the way up with water. All the cucumbers are currently covered, submerged under. So I'm gonna do a little trick. I'm going to take the Ziploc baggie, and I'm just going to put it in here. And I'm gonna make one more solution, 2 more cups of liquid of the salt water, and put it in here. So if there is a leak in the bag, it's not gonna dilute my water. It's just gonna keep it the same salinity. So let me just work on that, and then we'll get back. So I filled up the Ziploc bag with the brine solution just to make like a little weight. I do want to keep the leaves, like the dill and the horseradish leaf that I have here on top, submerged, so they're not floating. So I'm just going to tuck this in. If the Ziploc bag does leak for whatever reason, it's the same salinity, so we should be good. I did make the mistake once of not using the water, and I had to throw that batch out. So I'm just going to cover this up and do the same thing. Just a little snug thing. And we're done. We're just gonna set this off in a nice little corner. We'll check on it tomorrow. Don't the pickles just look so pretty in there? Oh my god, I can't wait to eat them. Sorry for the bad lighting, but here's an update. This is day 2 sitting out on the counter for the pickles. You can see that there's a little bit of scum at the top. We're just gonna clear that off. So just gonna push this down a little bit and see. You can see that it's bubbling, so that means the fermentation is happening. And you can see along here that there's bubbles. If I try to shimmy this, you can see bubbles rising. So this is day 2. It smells really good, and we'll check on it tomorrow. You can see the color starting to get a little bit darker green. It's not that bright, vibrant, but it's still there. And it's starting to get cloudy in here, so that's a good sign. Welcome back. It's been 14 days since I started the process. Like I said before, it was a little bit warmer when I started the pickles, so I had them on the countertop for 2 days, and then I put them in the refrigerator, and I've been checking on them every couple of days just to release the pressure. Oh, you didn't hear it, but it does pop sometimes. So let's take a pickle out and let's see what it looks like on the inside. So I got a nice pickle here. You can see the color has changed to like a dark green color from the bright green originally. I'm just gonna cut it in half. It still has a nice crunch to it. Look how beautiful that is on the inside. All right, let's do a taste test and let's see how these came out. Nice and crunchy, pickly, garlicky. You should try the recipe. Leave a comment down below if you do.